we know exactly what is buried beneath the Virginia soil: 2,921 pounds of gold, 5,100 pounds of silver, a cache of jewels obtained in St. Louis. Today, it's valued at over $60 million, and records indicate it was packed into heavy iron pots resting on solid stone. But you can't simply go dig it up. For more than a century and a half, that fortune has been protected by a sequence of numbers that has defied the greatest minds in American history. The trail begins in 1817. A Virginian named Thomas J. Beale led a party of 30 men on a buffalo hunt north of Santa Fe. This group struck a massive vein of gold and silver, spent 18 months extracting the ore, and hauled the resulting hoard across the frontier to Bedford County, Virginia. This story moved beyond campfire myth in 1822, when Beale handed a locked iron box of secrets to a local tavern keeper and vanished. The box held 3 sheets of paper covered entirely in numbers. Decades went by with no progress, until a man named James B. Ward published the codes in an 1885 pamphlet known as the Beale Papers. Ward revealed that he had successfully cracked the second sheet of numbers. To do it, he used the Declaration of Independence as his source document. He applied a classic book cipher. He numbered every word in the Declaration. When the cipher listed the number 115, he went to that specific word in the text, took its first letter, and wrote it down. Letter by letter, the numbers spelled out the exact inventory of the $60 million hoard. That single translation proved the treasure's staggering value. But the physical location of the vault was hidden in Cipher 1, and unlike the inventory list, Cipher 1 refuses to align with any known document. Driven by the promise of iron pots overflowing with gold, generations of treasure hunters tore into the Virginia countryside. In the late 1890s, the Hart brothers tried using mesmerism and seances to find the spot. When that failed, they brought in dynamite. Modern teams have deployed backhoes and ground-penetrating radar, scouring the hills around Bedford. This chart shows the numerical distribution of Cipher 1. While the second code never exceeded the length of the Declaration, the data for the location code peaks well past 2,900. This exposes a structural problem. A book cipher requires a source text with at least as many words as the highest number in the code. Almost no accessible document from the early 19th century is long enough to serve this purpose. The necessary source material likely didn't exist in 1822. Cryptographers cannot simply brute force a solution because the underlying math suggests the location was never meant to be found through standard decryption. This structural problem leads many historians to conclude that Thomas Beale was a fictional creation. Academics point to linguistic anachronisms in the original letters. For example, the author uses the word stampeding, a term that didn't enter common American usage until the 1840s, long after the letters were supposedly written. The true author appears to be the man who published the pamphlet, James B. Ward. Records show Ward was an active master mason, thoroughly steeped in the rituals and symbols of the order. A recurring allegory within Masonic teachings is the concept of the secret vault, a subterranean depository of lost wisdom and hidden truths. Scholars argue the Beale Ciphers were either a philosophical initiation test for Ward's peers or a grift to sell 50-cent pamphlets to the public. If the text is chronologically flawed and linked to Masonic symbolism, the $60 million Virginia vault likely exists as a literary fabrication rather than a physical reality. A third theory suggests the ciphers are genuine, the gold was real, and the reason nobody can find the treasure in Virginia is because the vault is currently empty. Modern researchers have uncovered a new historical paper trail. Official U.S. land grants from the mid-19th century connect men associated with the Beale Party to major real estate acquisitions out west. This map diagrams how the wealth may have moved. Following the passage of the Homestead Act in 1862, these individuals could have quietly liquidated the Virginia gold and converted it into sprawling new land claims in places like Missouri and Kansas. In this scenario, the $60 million hasn't been found beneath a Bedford County hill because it was used as the seed money that built new American dynasties on the western frontier. The sheer psychological power of this mystery has expanded the hunt far beyond amateur diggers. The ciphers eventually consumed the founders of the American Black Chamber and were actively studied by high-level intelligence agencies. Whether the gold was secretly routed to Kansas, fabricated by a clever Virginia Freemason, or still sits rotting under 6 feet of dirt, the practical outcome is exactly the same. The Beale Ciphers function as a persistent intellectual honeypot. They are a mathematical trap designed to weaponize human curiosity and keep us searching indefinitely. The enduring treasure of Thomas J. Beale is a perfectly engineered, unsolvable puzzle. It proves the promise of a secret carries more weight than the truth of its solution.